So, like right here.
Okay.
All right, welcome into the broadcast here. We're both these teams getting ready for the second half of the season. We have the Sunnyside Blue Devils here in Vail, Arizona to play the Cienega Bobcats. We're going to get a pregame report from Gabe Parrish down on the field. Gabe, take it away.
Sunnyside loves to run the ball, well coached by Roy Lopez, the ex-coach from Marcos de Niza, former lineman. Martin
Avisu?
Willie Rose and Jonathan Gomez are going to make the three-headed running back attack. The Blue Devils 3-2, although there was
Wins?
have come against mediocre teams. Tonight will be very tough test.
All right, very good.
All right, well, I'm Jacob Greenberg, joined alongside here with Jason Miller as we get set here for week 6 of Cienega football. So again, Cienega 4-1, Sunnyside 3-2. Sunnyside no Centennial, but they're also no Rincon or no Choya. Mediocre teams.
Right, and they're going to have a tough time here tonight. Let's just call it like it is. The Bobcats here have a supreme advantage when we look at talent that's out on the field. They're going to have an advantage with speed at the skill positions, in the secondary, at quarterback, at running back, and coaching overall. So the team is just loaded. And Sunnyside is a program that is working their way up. So I saw them play last year against South Point Catholic High School, and they did play well, and they hung in that game. So we can expect Sunnyside to be a scrappy team, tenacious. They will not quit, they will not yield, but there's a deficit for them in terms of talent and speed, but they're going to do their best.
Captains for tonight, for Sunnyside, it's Elijah Wyatt. Number 3, Willie Rose. Number 4, Sebastian Olmos. And number 5, Jonathan Gomez.
And those are 4 of their most talented players that they have on the field. One thing to note here, Thomas Webb Jr., number 4, is playing tonight. So he had been out the previous 3 games with a stinger that was sustained at Centennial High School. Basically, it's just nerve damage as a result of an awkward tackle. So the neck goes one way, and Thomas's neck went to the right, and his helmet went to the right. The damage for him was on the left side of his body, or his left hemisphere. He had difficulty maintaining balance with his left hand and strength with his left hand. So if he elevated or had both of his hands extended, the left hand would just drop on its own. Now he's back to 100%. Good to see him healthy and out in the field tonight.
Yeah, and speaking about injuries, another injury suffered at Centennial, Gio Owens. He's going to be out for his 3rd consecutive week. But they're just probably trying to maintain him for these next few games.
And again, the status that we got, at least initially from Centennial, was maybe a bruised sternum or something in his chest and rib area. Maybe they thought potentially a fractured rib or a cracked rib. And so it's going to be difficult for him to get back into the mix. But when he does come back, when he's able to finally re-emerge and make his re-debut for this team back on this field, he is an electric running back weapon who can take the ball to the house on any ball carry. So he is a missing ingredient in that very dynamic offensive attack that the Cats have.
Captains for the Cats were Luis Morales, Diego Rivas, Thomas Webb Jr., and Jacob Acosta. Cienega coming off their 38-17 win.
I think it was 38-21.
38-21 win against Mountain View. And Sunnyside Blue Devils coming off a loss 48-0 last week to Saguaro.
And that does not bode well for them. And Saguaro has a good team, at least on paper, so they're going to have a much more formidable task tonight against Cienega at home, even during this fall break. So there's not as much energy that you would normally see here at Bobcat Stadium, but the Cats should be ready to play tonight.
Cats will receive first. It's Terrell Hayward to receive. Terrell Hayward up to the 25.
Well, Hayward does everything. If you look at this offense and in terms of like total yards, he's accounted for 545 total yards of offense. He's right at 33% for the team's overall output in terms of yards. So he is a player that you have to keep your eyes open for Sunnyside, especially at wide receiver in the slot, punt returner, kick returner, and also on defense at the cornerback position. super talented, super versatile player.
So Caleb Beard will be out there again with Gio Owens out. Screen pass to Terrell Hayward left side. Terrell Hayward can't break the number 4, Sebastian Olmos, captain for tonight's game.
Yep, almost a senior, 5'10", 155, so that'll be a tough assignment for him throughout the course of this evening. Last week, Hayward with a hat trick, 3 touchdowns. So he had re-emerged. He missed the previous week's game because he was at a wedding. So I like to imagine him just kind of dancing on the dance floor and maybe eating some cake, a little bit of cake, wedding cake.
Morales gives the handoff, and it is Thomas Webb for a couple.
Isias Hernandez, number 14, the senior, defensive back on the tackle. Blue Devils have beautiful uniforms. They've got the white jerseys, the white pants, blue helmets.
Nice helmets.
The numbers, and at least their logo, the Blue Devil logo emblazoned on their helmet. The numbers on the side of their sleeves, very sharp. A lot of movement there defensively for Sunnyside.
And here's another handoff to Webb. Webb gets through the middle and pushes his way for a first down.
Yeah, gain of 11. That's encouraging for the Cats, right? So that first carry that Thomas had on the previous play, I wanted to see how he went into it. If he was favoring his head and shoulder area to try to protect himself from having a recurring injury. That second carry there, that was kind of vintage Webb, just lowering his shoulders and being a bulldozer, running kids over. Good blend of speed and power.
First and 10 from the 45. Morales keeps. Morales up the middle.
Fumble.
Oh, fumble on the field. And we'll see who recovers it here. And Sunnyside is on top of it to recover the turnover off the Luis Morales fumble.
It was close. It looked like Luis, he was very close to having his knee down on the play, and his body was parallel to the turf, to the surface. So he's very close there. I wasn't paying so close attention to it like in real time, but he did have a nice game last week running the football, 45 yards and a touchdown last week. So we're seeing that quarterback draw as more of an integral part of the offense.
And it's number 13, Devils. He gives the handoff to number 5, Jonathan Gomez.
Yeah, Gomez, one of 3 running backs that Sunnyside will use here tonight, and he is one of the seniors on that rotation at running back. 18 carries, 96 yards, averaging 5.3 yards a carry. Willie Rose, who Gabe mentioned earlier in the pregame, averaging 6.2, and Martin Ervisu averaging 12.3 yards a carry, number 2. So 2, 3, and 5 runners to watch out for.
Lopez with the handoff to Gomez again, and that goes for a first down.
Yeah, 8 yards on the play. You see what Sunnyside is going to be running here tonight. It's a very compact attack. They have some nice sized linemen on their offensive line, and they like to run in the interior. So these little scat backs, right, because Gomez is 5'6", 180, difficult for the linebackers and the corners and safeties to pick these little guys up behind these large, massive offensive linemen.
Sunnyside averages more rushing yards per game than Cienega, but the reason is because what they do on offense is they run the ball. They don't pass too often. It's a lot of running from the Sunnyside Blue Devils tonight. And here's another handoff to number 2.
Ervisu.
Yep.
Martin Ervisu. So he's got numbers coming in, 44 carries, 295 yards, averaging 12.3 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns, including touchdown score for this team. And you're right, they're not going to throw the ball a lot. They're averaging about 12 passes per game. So they are a classic run offense that just tries to ground and pound, take ball control, take possession, eat the clock down, and try to play some stalwart defense.
Second and 7 for the Blue Devils. Here's the handoff coming right side, and Diego Ruby able to stop him before he gets any yards.
That's a man's tackle right there. Ruby coming up from the cornerback position, and it was mano a mano against Dustin Archuleta. Archuleta, the junior, 5'10", 185. He does not factor into their offensive play calling that much. As a matter of fact, that's his, I thought it was his first carry of the season. It is, actually. So Archuleta's first carry of the year. But a nice tackle there by Ruby out in space.
3rd and 9 here. Maybe we'll see one of those 12 passes.
I think so. I think so.
Runner comes in motion. Lopez throws and into coverage, and it is nearly intercepted. It is Terrell Hayward with the coverage.
It's good coverage there. So you have Jonathan Lopez, their quarterback, who is a senior, 6'1", 190. He's completing 46% of his passes. 468 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. His quarterback rating is not good. It's 67.4. But on that play, he was targeting Sebastian Olmos, who is the 2nd leading receiver for the Blue Devils, averaging 19.1 yards per catch. Nice job there by Hayward, just fronting his man, and he nearly had an interception.
Punts here from number 34. Not on the roster.
Yeah. Oh, you know who I'm guessing 34 is CJ Vasquez, because CJ Vasquez is listed as their punter. He's a junior, 5'10", 170, and he's also listed as their kicker. So we'll see if we can spy number 80 on the field, because that's Vasquez's number, and if not, then I guess by deduction, I'm not Sherlock Holmes, but we can deduce that the punter would be CJ Vasquez. Nice job by Hayward there. He's so good at fair catching. So there were 2 players, 2 Blue Devils right in his face, flanking him, sandwiching him, and able to make the fair catch signal and come down with that. We've seen him time after time after time. That's one of the most underrated assets, I guess, in his skill set.
Cienega with their 2nd drive. Fumble on the 1st. Ruby in motion receives the handoff, and there's a tackle from number 14, Isis Hernandez, to give the Cats a loss of yards.
Nice tackle. Going down low there, because if Ruby had the corner or the edge, which he appeared to have gotten, then he had plenty of open real estate to run with. Are these new helmets for Cienega, or are these the helmets that they were wearing last week at Mountain View?
Those are
These are sharp. We were a little bit higher up last week, and they were across the way, so it was harder for me to pick these up. But very nice. They've got the Bobcat logo on one side and the number of the player on the other side in copper lettering. Very sharp.
I think that's a new duo, though, with the white pants.
Right. A new combination.
Yeah. Morales to throw. Has a receiver who is open. Is Diego Ruby.
See ya.
Diego Ruby has got it in space and will take it for 6.
77 yards. A nice little pump fake there from Luis Morales Jr., who is so efficient passing the football. And we saw Diego Ruby 2 weeks ago, and he just went off against Rincon University High School right here. So a fortnight ago, or 14 calendar days ago, Ruby had his breakout party. Well, that was a beautiful out route and right on target there. He'd gotten behind the corner and the safety, and it was just a sprint. And Ruby's got excellent speed, very much like Terrell Hayward.
Ezra Figueroa's extra point is good, and the Cats lead 7-0.
Well, that's 11 touchdowns now passing the football from Luis Morales Jr. 61% completion percentage, 11 touchdowns now, no interceptions. Quarterback rating is sterling, 136.3. So the kid is a gamer, he's very efficient in the pocket. If he has time to throw the football, which he usually does, then he's very efficient at picking apart the defense. That ball was delivered right on target.
Blue Devils will receive their first kickoff of the night, and that's going to be a flag as it goes out at the 9-yard line.
Well, it's nitpicking. If Ezra Figueroa has a deficiency in his game, it might be on kickoffs. But he's been very good, and recently we've seen him depositing the kickoffs into the end zone for touchbacks more regularly. So can't fault him for that too much, but the Blue Devils a break here with nice field positioning at their own 35.
And it's Lopez to Willie Rose. Willie Rose pushes himself for 6 yards.
It's a nice name, Willie Rose. 44 carries, 271 yards, 6.2 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. Also a decent receiver out of the backfield, 3 catches for 39 yards. Mostly on flares and swing patterns.
This time it's Arvizu.
I think he lunged forward for the first down. Patient there, following his blockers.
Do the same play, but this time Lopez keeps and gets number 5, who is running to his right.
Jonathan Gomez, nice catch. Out in the flats. See, they like to move their quarterback and buy him some time by having him rolling out either direction. We've seen him rolling to his left. We've now seen him rolling to his right. Nicely delivered pass right on target. And that's what Sunnyside has to do. If they're going to run the football as much as they do, then play action becomes a larger part of their calculus for their play calling, and it becomes much more efficient, especially if you're able to get positive gains running the ball, which they have been doing here tonight.
Rose takes the quick handoff. So we've seen about 3 play formations from the Sunnyside Blue Devils so far, but they've been doing different things with those formations.
Right, and you'll see Cienega do the same thing. I mean, you'll see every well-coached high school team with myriad combinations off of very similar or the same formations. Might be a player in motion one way or another, or one player lined up to the other side of the line. Sometimes 2 tight end sets, but we see with Sunnyside, very tight, compact formation. They do utilize a tight end and sometimes 2 tight ends.
Lopez to Gomez. I think Jonathan Lopez is any relation to Roy Lopez?
That is a good question. There's also a lineman, Francisco Lopez, who is a senior, 5'9", 275. Impossible for me to say. I do not know. I did talk to Roy Lopez last year before his game against South Point Catholic. Very nice man. And I know I think he does have a son who plays on this team. I just don't know which one is his.
Jonathan Lopez with the pitch to Willie Rose. And Willie Rose, it's Jacob Acosta there to get his feet.
Yeah, a little option pitch. The trick with the option is how long do you hold on to the football? You want to wait till the last possible moment, wait for one of those linebackers to commit to you as a quarterback before you flick it off. But it was a nice little play there Nice tackle by Acosta. He's the leading tackler for the Cats.
One of the captains for tonight's game.
Inside linebacker.
The Blue Devils need 6 here on 3rd down. It's Willie Rose in the backfield. And it's Lopez to throw. Feels some pressure and gets it off to Rose. And Rose fumbles it.
Calling incomplete down there.
It's a close one.
Diego Rivas right there in coverage. It was a screen play. It was pretty well designed. There was just one player for the receiver to beat, and Willie Rose was the target, had the ball in and out of his hands there momentarily, and if he had gotten past Diego Rivas, then he had enough room to get a first down potentially. So this is the first, I guess, interesting or difficult decision here to make for Roy Lopez. Looks like they're going for it here on 4th and 6. And I like that call. It tells everyone here that Sunnyside came to play tonight. You're playing to win. You're not settling for a punt here.
We'll see what they do here on 4th and 6. It's Gomez rolling left. Will throw downfield into coverage, and that had no chance. Josiah Ware and Terrell Hayward with great coverage there.
Julio Vasquez, the target. He's got 12 catches this season for 151 yards, averaging 12.6 yards per reception. Just ran a deep post pattern there, but there were 2 guys in coverage. Josiah Ware right there, lockstep with him, and Terrell Hayward at the safety position drifting back as well for extra additional help. But nice coverage there, nice defense. Pretty well executed play. So you saw Jonathan Lopez rolling to his left, and then he had to pivot, plant, turn his whole body, and then he was able to throw the ball downfield. It was a nicely delivered pass, but you're taking a little bit of a risk when you're throwing in double coverage.
So already, when we've seen Sunnyside throw, it's been some risky passes.
Yes. They're going to have to take some chances tonight, no doubt about it.
So it's a turnover on downs for the Blue Devils.
You see T-Webb coming in here. And I think Caleb Beard flanking him on the other side.
Morales to throw, looking left. It's Terrell Hayward who he's looking for, and it is intercepted by number 4, Sebastian Olmos. And Olmos still going left side, and Zach Mattis will get him.
Big play. Mattis might be flagged there. He rode him out of bounds. He was in the midst of making the tackle. It wasn't a dirty play intentionally, but that was a great pick there by Sebastian Olmos, the senior, 5'10", 155. Just drifting back in coverage. Luis Morales does not take risky throws or chances like that very often. His first interception of the year. So
wow.
It was on a remarkable run between last season and this season in terms of protecting the football and not turning it over.
Junior again, Archuleta, starting to get some looks here in this game.
Chris Burrows coming up making the tackle, so Chris with his first foray onto the field for the Cats. Undersized cornerback, but again, he's the prototypical player who plays big. He's got a big heart, he's got a motor or an engine that does not stop, and he's fearless. He also has a nose for the football and blazing speed.
Lopez keeps on this one. Zach Mattis coming to his right, gets hit, and it is caught by number 9, Ruben Retina, who's a big receiver out there.
Yeah, Retina, 6'1", 220, tight end, big target, mostly out there to block, but a nice catch by him on that play. And I think Sunnyside kind of flipped the script there on Cienega. Cienega was expecting more of an obvious running play. That's Retina's second reception of the season, so 2 catches for 17 yards in the first down there. .50 seconds to go in the first. Lopez rolling right.
Has some pressure from Zach Mattis again. Zach Mattis almost gets him, but it'll be Chris Burros and Diego Rivas.
And that was dangerous for Cienega. Sunnyside had a wide receiver open in space, drifting toward the end zone. Number 23, Vasquez. Julio Vasquez. So he had separated and was wide open. I don't think that Jonathan Lopez saw him downfield. Regardless, a nice pickup on the play, 6 yards on the carry.
So we'll see. Might want to get one more off here.
I don't think so.
No. So that brings an end to the first quarter. Cats lead 7-0.
Interesting game. Excellent coach. Many years at Marcos Deniza. Cienega played Marcos Deniza multiple times in the playoffs. Had some shootouts here at Cienega High School. The Cats triumphed, I think, in those 2 playoff matches that they played. One of those games went into, I think, a triple overtime, and Francisco Di Cochea was the weapon for the Cats that night, number 5, one of the great running backs in Bobcat history. I think he had 7 touchdowns that night. He may have had 8. I mean, he had so many touchdowns, but it was mostly throughout the game, but then in the overtime periods, they kept giving the ball to Dico, and Francisco Di Cochea kept putting it into the end zone.
Yeah, so Roy Lopez, this is his 3rd season. 2016 he went 4-6. 2017 last year he went 3-7, and this year he's 3-2, already matching the win total from last season. So still hasn't made the playoffs yet.
Very difficult for him. It's a difficult assignment. You are in rebuild mode, right? Richard Sanchez was at Sunnyside for many years and won some state championships with the Blue Devils. So once Richard Sanchez stepped away from Sunnyside, that team went into a bit of a tailspin. Lopez trying to bring him back to their former glory.
From the 27, it's the quick handoff. And that's going to get them a first down. So good drive here from the Blue Devils.
Yeah, and remember, it started with the interception. It was Sebastian Olmos drifting back in coverage. He was locked in one-on-one with Terrell Hayward, and he had better positioning. So it was almost as if Olmos were the wide receiver on a deep post route and made a great catch and a nice return to get the Blue Devils good field position about midfield. There's a flag. So it was the running back in the backfield, Dustin Archuleta, who just flinched. You could see as if he had been shocked there a little bit by electricity. His whole body kind of spasmed, and that was enough to draw the penalty flag there on the false start. That's an unlucky break for the Blue Devils.
Rose on 1st and 15. Two yards there.
Yeah, and it might be a good chance here for Sunnyside to roll the dice on a trick play. So Jonathan Gomez, who is a running back, does have a pass completed this year. He's 1 for 1, 37 yards and a touchdown for the Blue Devils. So if they're going to roll the dice here with some trickery, now might be a good time to do it.
It's Lopez rolling left, throws it across his body, and pass there over the head of number 23, Julio Vasquez.
I don't know if Josiah Ware got a hand on that ball. It looked like he was right there at the end and just nicked it with his fingertips.
So now it's 3rd and 13.
Ware, a good athlete, 5'11", 160, but he looks taller than that when he's out on the field, and his wingspan is longer than that too. So able to get that long right arm extended there. And I think he got some fingertips on that football to deflect it away.
Lopez on third down.
Tricky.
Yeah.
It was a wraparound handoff. So Jonathan Lopez rolled to his right. As he was rolling, he just reached in front and planted the football in Jonathan Gomez's hand. And Gomez here hopping off. Looks like a right ankle issue. Very gingerly stepping on that right foot. And I like the play call. It's very creative. If you're Sunnyside, you've been able to run the ball very effectively here behind that massive offensive line. Michael Perez, 6'2", 280. Francisco Lopez, 5'9", 275. Darius Arrieta, 5'8", 195. Harvey Gonzalez, 6'3", 275. Adrian Monreal, 6'1", 265. And they've got two tight ends here in this formation. And there he goes.
Breaks one tackle. Then gets taken down.
Yeah, Jonathan Lopez there. It was a quarterback sneak from the outset, and he was just kind of like pecking behind the center and the left guard. No room. He just shifted over to his left and was able to find some space. So 4 yards and a first down. Cat fans here, very quiet. Surprised, I think, by the Blue Devils tonight.
So they need 7, and it's Arvizu.
Nice tackle.
Arvizu.
Diego Ruby right there grabbed some jersey and did not let go.
So no yards on the previous play. They need 7 again. Arvizu. Looks like they're still going to be stuck at 7 on third down. And a flag now thrown way after the play. Yeah, sideline warning to the Cats.
Well, you have coaches that drift onto the field. It's not usually players. Nice tackle there by Hunter Schlegel, the massive sophomore, 6'2", 250, at that left defensive end position here.
Lopez running back, and it is caught for a touchdown. It's number 9.
I think it was 5. It was 9. You're right. Ruben Retina.
Yep.
So the tight end, his second catch here tonight. Coming into the game, he'd had all of 1 reception for 7 yards. He's got 2 here tonight for 17 in the touchdown.
That was a good throw, Jonathan Lopez.
Yeah, threading the needle, like truly threading the needle through a lot of traffic there, delivered it right where he wanted to go, and Retina going down to the turf to make that catch.
So now here's 80, CJ Vasquez. It is good. So number 34 is not listed. 7-7, tie game.
Yeah, it's a mystery. We don't know who number 34 is. And you just wonder, Jacob, Cienega High School is on a 2-week fall break. That has to be a factor here in terms of preparation. I know I'm out of my normal rhythm. I got here relatively late. I think I was on campus at 6 o'clock. Printed out some notes. I scarfed down a catch of the sea salad, which was pretty tasty. And then I brushed my teeth, of course. And then I meandered over here around 6:40, 6:45. Very late for me to get here at the stadium. But there's a noticeable lack of energy here at Bobcat Stadium. This is not something that we are accustomed to. And I'm sure that break at least, I'm not saying it's the reason why it's 7-7 here, but there's a different level of energy here tonight.
So 8:24 to go in the second quarter as the Sunnyside Blue Devils kick off to the Bobcats. And it is into the end zone, and the Cats will take it out of 25.
Well, remember, that was a long drive that ate about 3.5 minutes here in the second quarter. It also ate the last several minutes of the first quarter. And it was all off of the turnover. So Sebastian Olmos with the interception and the return. And then a beautifully executed drive there, mixing in the run. A little bit of trickery there on a 3rd and long on the wraparound handoff. And then a nice touchdown pass there from Jonathan Lopez to Ruben Retina.
Morales gives it to Webb, who's the tailback. Webb hops over one defender to get some extra yards on the play.
I do want to mention our touchdown sponsor, Steamy Concepts, and our red zone sponsor, Pyramid Federal Credit Union. Well, Webb's back, right? So if he's back, then he's back 100%, and they're relying on him as the workhorse running back in that talented backfield. Caleb Beard looks like he's lining up there at tight end, or is that Zach Mattis? Zach Mattis at tight end.
Handoff goes to Thomas Webb again, and Webb bullying his way.
Gain of about 7 in there on the carry. Tackled by Dustin Archuleta. 7:36 on the clock here in the second quarter, tied up at 7.
Handoff goes to Terrell Hayward. Terrell Hayward stopped at the line. Good defensive stop there from the Blue Devils.
Yeah, that tackler, I think it was Elijah Wyatt, the senior number 1, 6'2", 205. He's very athletic, hybrid defensive end linebacker, there to initiate contact as soon as Hayward had the ball in his hands. Cats can go a couple different ways here on 3rd and 4.
Three receivers to the left of Morales. Thomas Webb Jr., the tailback.
Low snap.
Terrell Hayward gets it to Ruby for a first down and more. 5 more than the first down.
Yeah, especially considering the snap was so low. That ball was down at his shins, basically. So for Luis to get that low snap and then able to find his target, it was a quick out pattern there from Diego Ruby. We've seen him do that repeatedly this season. Excellent catch, and then able to elude the tackler and get a couple extra yards.
Hayward in motion. We'll take it right side here. Finds a hole and more.
Yep.
Hayward right side. And
oh, beautiful. Look at it.
Still going. Terrell
Still
Hayward
going.
Pushed out of bounds. Good run there by Terrell Hayward.
44 yards on the carry. Coming in motion toward the near side. You could see the lanes opening for him. That was all Terrell Hayward's quickness there coming to the near side. The elusivity that he's got, the athleticism, the agility, and then his motor continuing to press forward there. The cut back to the inside gave him an extra 7 or 8 yards. And he didn't stop, so there's a chance he could have gone to the end zone on a touchdown on that run.
There's always going to be a challenge to tackle. Number 42, Gonzalez, the defensive back, great yards. 30 to 20 yards.
Some missed tackle. Caleb Beard in for the Cats, a tailback.
And they will go to Beard. Beard is in for a 5-yard touchdown run.
Very nice.
And now a flag is thrown after the play. It's a holding against the Cats.
It's too bad. It was a nicely designed play. As Diego Ruby was going in motion toward the far side, the snap came back. So there are a lot of moving parts there, deliberately done by Cienega. And then a great run by Caleb. The hole was massive and very easy for him to drift through. Perhaps the hold played a factor in that massive hole there. The Cats on the offensive line, Darian Torres, number 71, the senior at right tackle, 6'3", 280. Rodabear Quintero, the right guard, number 52, the senior. Daniel Hernandez, number 66, is there at center. The left tackle is Andrew Husfeld, number 55. And we'll get back on the left guard there in just a second. Tyron McKinney at left guard.
Morales keeps it here. Lunges forward. So it's going to bring up 2nd and goal from the 14-yard line.
No, you've got Diego Ruby lined up far to the left. You have Hayward in the slot. Those are two guys to look out for.
And he finds Hayward here, and he's in for the touchdown.
Yeah, very nice. So initially, you had Hayward in the left slot. He came in motion near side, and it was a quick slant to the right side. Perfect pass from Luis Morales. Touchdown, Cats. A 14-yard touchdown reception. Terrell Hayward, the touchdown brought Demi. And then Ezra Figueroa, who is automatic on extra points. He is perfect this season. I think he missed one all of last year. So good as a kicker. Cats reclaim the lead 14-7.
Remember last year, Ezra Figueroa had to fill in for injured Austin Del Rio.
Right, because Austin had promise as a kicker as well. His story is a very sad one and very difficult to see what has happened to him. He was injured in a scrimmage last season as a senior. The expectation was that he would be kicking all of last year. The injury wiped him out for the entire season. All sorts of complications, including nerve damage to his leg, and he's still trying to rehabilitate to get his full mobility back.
Good special teams play there by the Cats.
But it's interesting when you think about it, right, that Ezra Figueroa was the backup kicker coming into last season, and Austin was an excellent kicker in his own right. And then for PJ Coco to be the 3rd string kicker and elevate to the starter at some point when Ezra was out, and he also filled in superbly. So the Cats, again, I've talked about it many times, a string of excellent kickers. Aaron Aros before Ezra Figueroa was a great kicker too. Just a string of excellent place kickers for the Cats.
So last year they had 3 kickers that could have started like.
Right, they'd be starting on
else.
other teams,
Yeah.
right? Anywhere else they'd be starting for sure.
Lopez.
Husfeld
has him.
Yep. Husfeld got him. That's his sack. Hunter Schlegel there to put on the icing, I guess, or the frosting on that one. But that was Andrew Husfeld. He exploded through that line and was all over the quarterback. And that was a quarterback rollout to his left, so Jonathan Lopez is a right-handed passer rolling to his left, very difficult for him.
Four minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. 2nd and 18. Sunnyside Blue Devils backed up to the 4-yard line.
Yep, this is really dangerous here. Things could slip away from Sunnyside. Very precarious position, 2nd and 18, from their own 4. Some movement there. So that'll be half the distance to the goal. That'll pin them back even further down to about the 2-yard line.
This is when defenses get hungry.
Right. You have the corners that are thirsty for a pick 6. You have the defensive ends and the tackles thirsty for a sack and a safety potentially. Flare pass.
It's to Willie Rose, who gets him out of that dangerous zone there. Good pickup there from Willie Rose.
Yeah, that's a mismatch. So you have Jacob Acosta, who is a tremendous tackling inside linebacker, but he's not the most fleet of foot. So when you have Willie Rose out there in space, just a quick move from him to get the extra yardage here. Now it's much more manageable 3rd down and 11 for Sunnyside.
Lopez, lots of time, but the pass, bad throw there.
Yeah, timing pattern. So he's just throwing the ball out in space. He wants his receiver, Sebastian Olmos, to just run toward it. Thomas Webb in great coverage right there. Just had a turnaround there, had a chance at an interception. But the Cats here will have excellent field position with about 2.5 minutes to go here in the first half. They have all 3 of their timeouts remaining, as do the Blue Devils. Low snap.
And it's a high one, but it is a short. Yeah, and that's good field position for the Cats here.
Yep, 24-yard punt by mystery player number 34. The Cats will have 1st and 10 at the Blue Devil 35-yard line. Interesting, the punter did not panic really. It was a low snap, he didn't field it cleanly, and then it took him a couple of moments to pull the ball off the turf. And then the result, of course, is the high punt. Not his best work, certainly, but pretty good considering the situation.
Hayward goes in motion. Fakes it to Hayward, and Morales will keep up the middle. So 7-yard gain there for Morales on the run.
That opens up the passing lanes for him if he's going to run the football like that.
Same play there, but this time they give it to Hayward. Hayward gets them the 1st down.
Nice block by Thomas Webb. So Webb was there in the backfield, and his job was to seal that left defensive end from Sunnyside. The Cats will take their first timeout with 1:33 on the clock. And I like it. I guess I like what Cienega is doing here offensively tonight. Pretty much what they do on a week-to-week basis. They really do strive to have balance on offense, running and throwing the football. So they have been effective running the ball. They've been effective throwing the football. There's the one interception that's the only really blemish that we see here tonight in all of their snaps from down on the field. But I'd like the timeout call here to stop the clock. Try to give the lineman a break here, get him a little bit of Powerade, and then gives the offensive coordinator and Pat Nugent some time to draw up some plays on offense. It feels warm. I know it's 83 degrees. That's cool for us here in Vail, but nary a breeze. I'm feeling like slight traces of a breeze now just fluttering in. Probably about a 3 to 5 mile per hour breeze here.
Cats from the 22. Morales, feeling pressure, will run it, and one, maybe two there.
Yeah, not much for him to do with that football. You had Hayward, who started off the left slot, came over in motion, then doubled back in motion to the other side. They put him in motion so often. Both he and Diego Ruby are typically the motion guys, and that just creates headaches for a defensive coordinator and a lot of confusion for the Blue Devils out there on defense. But nobody was open. All the receivers covered downfield. Good coverage by the Blue Devils.
Hand off to Webb, and he is stopped at the line. Some extra pushing after the play.
ECS Hernandez on the tackle for the Blue Devils, number 14, the senior. Cats take their second timeout. So you've got 3rd and 11 here. And different options. I'd be surprised if Cienega did not throw the football. You also have Ezra Figueroa and his accurate and strong right leg factoring in here if they don't get enough for a first down. So field goal certainly in the mix. 7-point lead, not very comfortable as a fan, and the coach is certainly not comfortable with that from Cienega.
Especially as a Cienega fan.
Right, a 10-point lead, not really comfortable either. 14 points is kind of what fans are accustomed to. So the Blue Devils here playing a great first half and truly battling out there.
Cats put up 31 points in the first half last week against Mountain View.
Right.
And rallied for 7 in the second. Flag on the play, but it is Ruby with the reception. He has a first down. We'll see what the flag is here.
Yep, probably. It might be a pick here, an illegal pick or an illegal screen from Cienega. You had Hayward and Ruby both flanked out to the far side. Hayward was the pick, and they're calling it here as it's a false start against Cienega, which is too bad. Beautifully designed play and nicely executed. And we've seen Diego Ruby with his excellent hands this season, and then the speed, the quickness after the catch.
Morales to throw here, has plenty of time, steps up, throws, looking end zone.
Ethan White was right there. Difficult catch. The level of difficulty very high because he's back toward the back line of the end zone. But Luis Morales put that ball exactly where it needed to be. It was either Ethan White or it was going to drift through the back of the end zone. Catchable, but again, the degree of difficulty extremely high on that one. Just thinking about Ethan White. He flanks out there at the left, the far left position at wide receiver. And we are going to see Ezra Figueroa here attempting what would be a 45-yard field goal. That is in his range. Wide left. Had the distance. Snap was good, the hold was good, and Ezra appeared to be in his natural kicking rhythm, so just hooked it a little bit to the left. So that's a morale boost for the Blue Devils for sure, and a bit demoralizing for Cienega. And the fans, again, there's this unnatural hush over the crowd. not as raucous or boisterous as we are accustomed to here at Cienega High School.
I think we were talking about this the same time last year when it was, the break and the kind of quiet.
Looks like we're going to have a special ring ceremony here at halftime. Looks like the Bobcat softball team, the state champs from last year, might be receiving their state championship rings. There's Eric Tatham. So he's got all of his girls from that state crown from last year back to back.
Yeah.
They have a three-peat on their mind. Eric Tatham coming back to school in late July, already getting his sights set for the spring, and another chance to chase that state crown.
And they may not get the spectators that football does, but they're one of the best team. They're the best team at the school.
They're the best team. They're the best program at the school. There's no doubt about it. That's indisputable. And the football program certainly accomplished in its own right. A state contender perennially. I'm trying to spy some of the players that are down there. Abby Dowdy comes to mind. Oh man, I'm trying to remember the other girls in that team. You've got Breezy Hayward, the younger sister of Terrell Hayward, who is now a sophomore. Abby Dowdy graduated last year. Mariah Lopez, the great left-handed starting pitcher. It's tough to see from a distance. I'm just trying to remember that roster from last year. And names are eluding me right now too, Jacob. So I'm racking my memory to come up with some of these girls' names.
Blaze Behringer.
Blaze Behringer, yes. Blaze Behringer's down there. I just spied her as well. There's a lot of speed down there on that Bobcat team. We'll listen to Tim Nichols, the Cienega High School public address announcer here. There's Joe Grassi from Jostens, so it's definitely a ring presentation or a ring ceremony as Eric Tatham makes his way toward midfield with Joe Grassi from Jostens. And here come the girls, the state champions of 2018. And if you can identify any of those players, Jacob, feel free to chime away.
Are they gonna say their names here?
Maybe. Lisa Martinez, Leah Dominguez, another excellent pitcher.
Number 4, Emily Maddox. Sophomore number 6, Alessandra Hernandez. Sophomore number 9, J.C. Hammergren. Junior number 10, Faith McLaughlin.
They were playing a game.
Senior number 14, Leza Martinez. Senior number 17, Leah Dominguez. And now for the starting lineup. Junior number 8, Blaze Berringer. College fresh, number 13, Abby Dowdy.
If they won 4, and he's won 2.
A lot of rings for the Dowdy family.
And he won 2.
College freshman number 5, Caitlin Anderson. Sophomore number 7, Breezy Hayward.
Senior number 11, Peyton McLaughlin. Junior number 15, Giovanna Herrera. Sophomore number 2, Emily Rodriguez. Senior number 3, Kinsey Carson. College freshman number 18, Anisela Parra. Junior number 12, Mariah Lopez. And now for the coaching staff, a lot goes into this program, the places they go, the high-level tournaments that they play in, a lot of management involved. It takes a great coaching staff to win 4 state championships for these guys. Coach Katrina Myers. Coach Damon Hammergren. Coach Gene Dowdy. Coach Scott Bushy. Coach Steve Garcia. Coach Steve Swin, our weight coach. Physical conditioning, that's the guy you want to get in touch with. And our trainer on campus, Kyle Bowen. And ladies and gentlemen, I can almost call him a legend. He's still too young though. Ladies and gentlemen, head coach Eric Tatham, congratulations. 4 state championships, 2 back-to-back, 1 on the way. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, one more hand for state champions 2018 Cienega softball.
All right. Welcome back into the broadcast as we're getting set here for the second half. 14-7. I think it's a lot closer game than most people expected, especially on the side over here where we're standing. Cienega only up by 7 points.
Yep, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised at how tough that Sunnyside is playing, nor am I surprised at how well coached they are. I'm surprised that their personnel has been able to hang with Cienega's personnel here. It should make for an interesting second half.
Blue Devils will have a chance to even cut more into the deficit or maybe even tie up the game here as they'll receive the kickoff here. Looked like that one was into the end zone, but he's still going.
Yep. Julio Vasquez across midfield.
And Elijah Miko able to bring them down.
Elijah does a nice job on special teams. He's so different from his brother. Such a smaller, speedier player. His brother Nate Amico was a massive fullback and linebacker, but they're both very talented football players. Great return there from Julio Vasquez, setting the tone here to open the second half for the Blue Devils.
Jonathan Lopez gives the handoff to Willie Rose. Rose will be stopped up at the line.
There's a lot of bat activity out here, so the bats might be one of the last evenings here for the bats to come out and do some harvesting of different insects out here. That's a totally random thought, but I thought the football was like drifting off in one direction, but
yeah,
it was a bat
like
there
a
in the field. Yes.
Lopez gives the handoff, and it goes left side for Archuleta, Dustin Archuleta.
Yeah, cat linebackers and Anthony Williams there from the right defensive end position. Anthony Husfelt drifting out there laterally. A good job to contain that runner. Gain of 2.
So it does bring up a quick third down here after the good kick return. Jonathan Lopez gives the screen pass, and it is to number 1, Elijah Wyatt, but he was already on the ground when he received it.
Yep, he slipped a little bit, and that right knee went down, so as soon as he caught the football, you saw what they're trying to do. The wide receiver screen there, and it looks like they're going to punt the ball, so a beautiful return from Julio Vasquez, wasted in essence here for the Blue Devils. Let's say the trick punt up their sleeve. It doesn't appear to be so looking at the personnel that's out there on the field. So they'll try to pin Cienega deep in their own end and play some field position here.
Ooh, almost blocked there.
Well, there's a roughing. So you had 2 players that ran into the punter. Cienega's Lane Baldwin is saying that he got a tip of the football, but I did not see the trajectory of the football move. So the ref's saying we didn't see it, right? You have Jeff Bull now, the special teams coach, saying that it was deflected. That's going to be a 15-yard penalty here for roughing the kicker. Let's see. Let's watch the referee and watch his signals here. Okay, I guess that's running into the kicker. That's a 5-yard penalty. Now, it does make it 4th and 2. And the Blue Devils electing to go for it here on a manageable 4th and short.
Fourth down.
4th and 3, actually. Devils call a timeout to try to draw something up here from their playbook. Well, Jacob, I did see 2 of those injured Bobcats during halftime, and I spoke to both of them. I saw Kevon Waples, number 5, who was a forgotten man, a senior, a wide receiver with excellent speed, blistering speed. He's on that 4x100 relay team. And I saw his fellow speedster, Gio Owens, the senior number 3, the senior running back. And Gio has bruised ribs, so his ribs are bruised on the right side. He said he should be ready to go next Friday when they go down to Buena to take on the Colts. Kevon Waples is awaiting a knee brace, and that is in transit, being shipped to him. Once he gets the knee brace, he said that he should be 100%. He's expecting to suit up next Friday night against Buena as well.
Has Kevon Waples played this season?
I don't think so.
Screen pass there is incomplete.
Oh, that's just puzzling to me. You have a receiver that's moving backward in Sebastian Olmos, and he had a great interception late in the second quarter, or late in the first quarter, and he's moving backwards. You're throwing the ball laterally. You're really putting a lot on your blockers up front to do their job, and then you're putting a lot in the hands of the receiver. So first you've got to catch the football, and then you've got to make about 5 yards with a string of tacklers like all in your way. That was a curious call.
Terrell Hayward with the handoff, and he will lose yardage. It's number 14, Isis Hernandez with the stop.
Yeah, I think it was Webb on the carry. It looked like he lost his footing there. He slipped on the turf. But a nice tackle there from Hernandez. It's a dangerous game, Jacob. The later this goes with a score that's this close, the more dangerous that the Blue Devils become. The Cats are going to have to do something here to energize this fan base and get them involved in the game.
Morales looking right side to throw, and it is low to Terrell Hayward, incomplete. So a quick third down there for the Cats after they take over from the turnover on downs.
Yeah, Elijah Wyatt, 6'2", 205, good-sized defensive end, applying the pressure there. The pocket collapsing a little bit on Luis Morales Jr. I don't think he stepped into that throw quite the way he needed to put the velocity on it. Hayward was there open in space, so good at carving out little nooks in the defense. 3rd and 10.
Morales looking downfield and over the head of Terrell Hayward.
Nearly caught, and Terrell ends up spearing accidentally the defensive back, Sebastian Olmos. That was totally accidental. Hayward had to extend, reaching back over his head, going backwards. And as he twisted, his momentum just carried him into the midsection of Olmos. Olmos may have had the wind knocked out of him there a little bit. Good to see him bouncing up and walking off the field. He also had Diego Ruby on the far side, who was open there in space, but he didn't look his direction. He was totally focused on Terrell Hayward near side, and you can certainly understand the reliance upon Hayward, or the focus on Terrell Hayward, because he catches just about everything. Almost came up with that catch.
Good defensive stand there by the Sunnyside Blue Devils. Brings up 4th and 10, and they're going to punt now. It's the first punt of the night. It's Thomas Webb Jr. out there.
I think he's averaging 39 yards a punt. Julio Vasquez, very dangerous returner back there at his own 25.
Good punt there.
Oh, nice coverage.
Good punt and no return. It is Ethan White with the stop.
Nice tackle by Ethan. He's been good in coverage for sure on special teams. And he was very good last year. He excelled at that role.
He's fast.
Nice for him to make a play like that. Nearly came down with a touchdown reception late in the first half. Very difficult catch to make.
Handoff goes to Willie Rose. He's going to try and cut back left side, and it's going to work out for him as he gets a first down and more. Good decision there to make a cutback.
Yeah, Josiah Ware with a touchdown-saving tackle. Gain of 13 on the play to move the chains, and a lot of misdirection. I was very confused as to where that football actually was until we saw Rose emerging on the far side.
Here it goes to Arvizu. And Cats are signaling for a fumble on the play.
There's a flag down. The Cats were signaling, and you see Anthony Williams coming up with a football. And you see DiMaggio Streve motioning as if it's like, that should be our football. You see Brett Darling, the defensive coordinator, at the 40-yard line. Diego Ruby, everybody's gesturing as if they're all referees. And you probably got some puzzled and disgruntled Bobcat fans here as well, wondering why that was not a fumble. So it'll be a holding call here against the Blue Devils, and it makes it first down and 18.
Pressure there and sacked by Zach Mattis.
Well, Mattis is going to get the sack, but you could really give a lot of the credit to the cover guys back there. So more of a coverage sack. Sebastian Felix, Thomas Webb, Josiah Ware, Terrell Hayward, Diego Ruby, all there in really airtight defensive coverage. Mattis with the sack.
We'll give coverage the assist on that one.
The sack and then the dump there too, dropping the quarterback down pretty hard to the turf.
Second and 24. Looking to throw is Lopez downfield. Wobbly ball. Ooh, number 8, Angel Cano kind of made himself to get some space there, but unable to bring it in.
Wobbly pass. Just kind of hovered and drifted up there. He had 2 targets in the vicinity. 85 was Andrew Quintero. And then Angel Cano was out also there. Made a nice dash for it. Trying to make that diving catch. And the Cats have moved Madison to inside linebacker. They have Jacob Acosta at outside linebacker on the far side.
Running back is Lopez, dumps it off to Rose, who is stopped up by Thomas Webb Jr.
Yep, that's beautiful tackling and really heads up football, knowing exactly what your responsibility is for Webb. Very intelligent player, cerebral, leader vocally, leader by example, tough as nails. Excellent job there. Oh, that's another low snap.
Terrell Hayward's going to take this one. Left side, good block there, and this one might go for a long one.
Great
Terrell
block.
Hayward still going. And pushed out of bounds at the 19-yard line.
We've got flags here. I thought I saw Lane Baldwin on a block that was a clean block coming back. I think they're going to flag Chris Burrows on the illegal block as he was coming up there. It was very close. It was a nice return there from Hayward. That one's coming back. But Baldwin had a beautiful block coming back there. That was clean. Apparently there were 2 holds on that play. Baldwin's was not one of them. I think Burrows is one of the players that were there, and there was somebody else on the other side, one of the linemen maybe, that got tangled up.
So instead of being at Sunnyside 19, we'll be all the way back at Cienega's 22-yard line.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Or no, not 22. That's going to be the 36-yard line.
Yes.
.540 to go in the third. Morales signals Ruby in motion. Screen to Terrell Hayward there. Terrell Hayward's going to make a pass downfield, and it's Diego
Nice.
One.
Nice cut back there. A bit of trickery from the Cats. We've seen Terrell Hayward throw the football. That was 24 yards on the play. A nice block there from Zach Mattis downfield as well, and a great cut back to the inside by Diego Rivas. So the first pass was a lateral behind the line of scrimmage, which makes Hayward an eligible quarterback to be able to throw the football down the field. He could have run, but he planted and squarely set to throw. 2 years ago, we saw Hayward complete a wide receiver option pass for a touchdown against South Point Catholic. That was that big Thursday night football game that was televised. Oh, nice block.
Hayward here. Cut back left, and this one's going to go for 6. Terrell Hayward in the end zone.
31 yards on the touchdown run. Dylan Silva with a beautiful block, driving his man into the turf. We're going to watch that in film tomorrow morning, and that is going to be a very popular play. Silva at 5'11", 185. A withering block to spring Hayward. Well, that'll get Terrell Hayward's yard per carry average up, coming into the game at 5.8 yards per carry. That 31-yard scamper. What a block by Dylan Silva. That elicited a lot of warm responses from the crowd down there in the grandstand in front of us. You know the coaches love to see that too. Chuck McCollum, the offensive line coach. Steve Schween, the strength and conditioning coach. He was one of the coaches out there, along with Kyle Bowen, the trainer, who received a state championship ring from the 2018 girls softball Bobcat title winners.
That kicks into the end zone. Sunnyside Blue Devils will start at the 20. They're gonna need to do what they have to do to score here. It's 14-point. Did he make that extra point?
That's what I was wondering too, Jacob. He either missed it or the scoreboard operator is behind here. They just kind of take it for granted. I think we were both scribbling down notes on the touchdown run. So apparently not. So a 13-point lead here, 20-7.
We've got so accustomed to Ezra Figueroa making them, we don't even watch anymore.
Automatic is what I have in my mind. That's the descriptor, the adjective. Automatic Ezra Figueroa.
Jonathan Lopez to Arvizu here. And the Cats all over that one.
We're seeing a much more rigid defense here from the Cats. Stringent in giving up yards here. Okay, now they added it on there. So 21-7. Scoreboard operator asleep at the wheel because it looked good. I caught the end of it. Subtle change. So we see Mattis at middle linebacker, Acosta on the outside. And they're really giving it to the clock operator here too. Whoever's down there is being yelled at in 5 different directions and by scores of fans. But this defensive effort here from Cienega in the second half has been impressive. They're really locking up on their tackles. And shutting down Sunnyside's attack.
Third and 7 for the Blue Devils. Lopez looking to throw. Left side and flag there. It's going to be a pass interference.
It was close. Sergio Torres there, a little bit draped over the receiver, David Diaz. You got to time that just right. It was very close, but it appeared as if Sergio was draped over Diaz before the ball arrived. So I think that's a good call there by the officials.
Yeah.
Sergio's a good cover guy too. So Sergio Torres at right corner, Elijah Amico, number 11, at left corner. The Cats have Chris Burrows and Thomas Webb at safety.
So that flag's going to do them good. It's going to give them a first down.
It was interesting. Burrows came up on the left defensive end. So at 5'9", 135, mixing it up with the trees down there, the Giants on the offensive line. And then the tackle made there by Jacob Acosta.
So with Sunnyside and their offensive style of running the ball, they're going to need some big, good alignment out there. And so far, they are big and they've done a good job. They have a lot of work to do out there with them running the ball all the time. Willie Rose tries to come back left side, but it'll be more of a loss. Zach Mattis.
Mattis exploding through between the left guard and the right guard and the right tackle, knifing his way through, latching on to the ball carrier. I think that was Jonathan Gomez, and just bringing him down. So Mattis, he played defensive end last year. Very effectively, a great pass rusher.
All right, here we go. Third down.
See Burrows creeping up there on the left end again. He might be applying some pressure on the quarterback.
Lopez rolling left side.
Strive.
No. DiMaggio Strive with the sack.
Well, DiMaggio, number 54, he played offensive line and defensive line last year, primarily an offensive lineman at the left guard position. This year he has made the transition to pass rushing defensive end, and he has been very good. Let's see Hayward breaking one here. 30-yard punt.
Cats were trying to extend the lead. They lead by 14, but they wanted. I'm sure they wanted by more.
Well, the defense has certainly been encouraging here in the second half for Cienega. They can put some plays together and put some points on the board. We're looking at a 14-point lead. If you extend it into 21, and that's significantly different, and it becomes much more challenging for Sunnyside, a team that is not accustomed to throwing the football, really asking a lot for their quarterback, Jonathan Lopez, to throw the ball to get back in this game.
Handoff to Zach Mattis.
So we saw him catch the ball last week. He had a 30-yard reception at Mountain View. And now we see him running the football. Versatile player. He's an athlete. Big, strong kid.
So it's Terrell Hayward in there as quarterback. But he's probably using him to hand off the ball. And maybe for him to run it, and there he goes. Gonna be stopped up.
And I have to say, you've heard me say this multiple times this season as Dustin Archuleta makes a tackle. I don't love seeing him in that position unless you're going to let him throw the football a little bit to keep the other team off balance, or let him hand off the football. I think you're putting him in maybe some unnecessary risk at that quarterback position. And I do think that it's a little bit predictable for the defense to key on Hayward, because 99% of the time that we've seen him at the quarterback in the Wildcat, he runs the ball himself.
Luis Morales goes back in there. Right side, the cut back to Ethan White, incomplete.
That was through his hands. That ball was right there, right where it needed to be, right on his outside shoulder. And now it's a tough pass for a quarterback. That's an NFL kind of throw when you're zipping the ball with velocity on the deep out pattern there. It was about a 10-yard out all the way across the field. Ethan has to catch that football.
He's dropped a lot of passes this year.
He's dropped a few for sure. And that's why I say Kevon Waples factoring in the mix at wide receiver, because for me he would have been wide receiver number 2 or 3 when you have Hayward and then Ruby and then Waples. That's a nice punt. .42 yards on the punt. Downed by PJ Coco. So seeing PJ out there on special teams coverage, he is a rugby player, right? So PJ, the backup kicker at 5'6", 140, he's ready to mix it up and scrum around a little bit. And you saw him playfully jostle down there with Ezra Figueroa. So PJ making a nice down on the punt there in coverage. Your little sisters don't watch PJ Masks, do they?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
Okay. I think you would know it if they were watching it. There's a flag down here. I thought it was for a false start here against Sunnyside. Illegal motion against Sunnyside.
So it'll be one more play here before the end of the third for the Sunnyside. These drives are going to start getting important for Sunnyside.
So there should be 2.8 seconds on the clock. This should be the last play here of the third quarter. That's strange that they allowed the clock to run off there. I don't understand that at all. But it brings us to the end of the third quarter.
So let's talk about the fourth quarter for these teams. They're not too. These teams don't score that much in the fourth quarter. Let's not talk about Cienega, because Cienega hasn't really had to score in the fourth quarter. But Sunnyside, let me pull it up here. 2.6 points a game. 2.6 points they average in the fourth quarter. And if we look back, some of these fourth quarters they should have been scoring in. Lost at Campo Verde 37-0. You should have been putting up points as much as you could. Decisive 20-13, close game. Only game Rincon 56-6. They probably took it easy. But all these games, 2.6 points. That's a low number.
Well, I think Cienega will have to score a little bit tonight. I think their defense is certainly capable of holding Sunnyside scoreless here in the second half. But I think we'll see Cienega will definitely try to push their advantage and put more points on the board. Looking at baseball scores right now, the Cubs beat the Cardinals 8-4. They're locked in that National League Central race. Yankees beat the Red Sox, so they will host the wild card game on Wednesday against Oakland. The winner of that series plays the Red Sox. That's a daunting challenge. The Brewers won today 6-5 over the Tigers, and the Diamondbacks scoreless in the sixth. Dodgers and Giants tied at 1.
Pass complete there to Julio Vasquez. And that will get them back to 2nd and 10.
And the Rockies won 5-2 today, so it looks like the Rockies are going to win the National League West. The Dodgers, a little bit of help from St. Louis, who lost today. So it looks like the Rockies will win the National League West. The Dodgers will have to go to play either Milwaukee or Chicago on the road in that National League wildcard game, which is a daunting task as well. Playoff baseball, I'm excited about it.
U of A football tomorrow.
Who are the Cats playing, USC?
USC. They have a good chance to win that game.
Oh, nice. Mattis again in the vice grip.
We've mentioned Zach Mattis' name a lot here tonight. This is one of those games he's going to put on the huddle.
Yep, for sure. He's indelibly marked his territory tonight. Product of the Mattis gym down in Vail. Saw Todd briefly before the during halftime intermission. A quick hello. Mrs. Mattis, a quick hello coming back up here. And Mr. and Mrs. Hayward as well gave them some congratulations on Breezy's state title. Boy, she was a prolific hitter as a freshman last year at third base for Tatham.
3rd and 12 here. And it's Willie Rose. Well, I didn't see him there, but it looks like he got through the middle.
Yeah, I didn't see him either.
And that's going to be a first down. That's a good run there from Willie Rose.
19 yards on the carry. I was following the quarterback. I thought the quarterback had the ball. They are really tricky and deceptive with their running plays. Misdirection and the fake handoffs and then their actual handoffs. There's a lot of deception involved with this running attack. And Sunnyside has time here, Jacob. They've got time to put a sustained drive together.
And it's Arvizu. It's going to be a loss on the play. He hasn't had much success running the ball here tonight.
No, not what I was expecting from him. Just looking at his gaudy statistics, right? When you're coming in averaging 12.3 yards a carry and nearly 300 yards for the season, I just expected more from him. I thought he would be a really speedy kid, but we haven't seen that tonight. I think that's an offsides against Williams. So Anthony at the left end jumping across the line of scrimmage, and he tapped himself on the chest, and that's my fault. I could totally see Anthony saying that too. That's exactly what he said, my fault. Are you going to the Cats USC game tomorrow?
No, I'm not. I'm going to go to the game when they play Oregon.
I think tomorrow night's also Hispanic Heritage Night, so there's going to be folklorico dancers at halftime. Mariachi's playing as well. It should be a pretty festive evening. The ball popped out, but the runner was down. Wait, what are you doing tomorrow night?
No, I'm going to go to the game the U of A game when they play Oregon.
Oh, Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that 2 weeks from tomorrow?
I think it's the 24th of
October?
Yep.
Okay. It's Mrs. Miller's birthday. I don't know what her plans are. I don't know what she wants to do.
Maybe we'll see you there.
That's possible. I don't think that's where she wants to spend her birthday,
okay.
but you never know. There's an option pass.
Throw downfield, Willie Rose. That's a good throw there. Gave a chance for Julio Vasquez to make the catch.
Yeah, it was a good throw. Good coverage there from Hayward to make up the distance. So it was pretty clear there that Rose had pass on his mind the whole way through. He did not deceive as if he were running the football. Those plays are more effective when the player appears to be running and then they stop quickly and then fire it away. You could tell he was setting up the whole way there.
Archie led on the run.
Hunter Schlegel, DiMaggio, Streve, Zach Mattis, the three of those guys in on that tackle. Archie is going to have some bruises tomorrow from those hits. Did USC got smoked by Oregon, right? Up at Oregon?
Yeah. USC hasn't got off to how USC usually is. They're 1-2, just like the Cats.
So I think they were expected. I know they were ranked early in the season.
Yeah.
17th, were they 17 at one point?
Somewhere around there.
Is Oregon back to kind of where they were when they had Chip Kelly there? Or
Oregon's doing good this year. They had a chance last week to beat Stanford. Blew it.
There's a pick.
Pass is intercepted by Diego Ruby.
And a return potentially. Oh, nice block there from Hayward.
Ruby going right side here. See Thomas Webb here to do some blocking. Ruby still going.
Oh, baby!
Stays in for a touchdown. You called it, Mr. Miller, all the way down there. Chance for a return.
Where did he pick the ball? The 20 or the 25?
Yeah, in between there.
So we'll say the 75-yard pick six. Go, Diego, go. Oh, he just drifted back in coverage and played center field on that one. Very patient with the catch and a beautiful return. It's funny, we're both dialed into the extra point now.
Yeah.
I'm calling it, Jacob. Ball game. 7:56 on the clock in the fourth quarter. That was a beautiful return. You saw the speed there from Diego, and then he put the brakes on about the 40-yard line and decided to cut it back this way. Hayward, it wasn't so much a block as he ran some interference for a would-be tackler, and that allowed Diego to come to the near side here to the close edge of us, and then it was his speed, a little bit of a pirouette, we can say at the 10-yard line, and then a scamper in for a touchdown. 75 yards on the pick six from Diego Ruby to touchdown, brought to you by Steamy Concepts. Don't get steamed, call Steamy. I don't have any carpets in my house, so I would call them. Got the laminate flooring, the faux wood, and some tiles,
yeah.
Which I think is good. I like that. A little bit of carpet's okay, but hard to keep clean. That's why you've got to call Steamy.
7:56 to go in the fourth. Here's the kickoff. Ezra Figueroa gives a chance to Angel Cano, who is right side. Cano gets through a hole. That's a good kickoff return there by Angel Cano.
Yeah, 35 yards on the return. Dylan Silva, nice job on the tackle. It looked for a moment there as if Cano had a chance to return that one back. We don't see back-to-back big play touchdowns happen very often. So Stanford beat Oregon last week?
Yes.
At Oregon or at Stanford? And
Can't remember.
Stanford's lost as well, right? Didn't they get blown out by somebody this season?
Who was it last week? I don't know. I forgot if it was Stanford or Oregon, but Stanford has a big game this week against Notre Dame. That one's going to be big.
Are they playing, I forget where Notre Dame's campus is located at. Is that one at Notre Dame or is that one at Stanford? Okay. Football fans out there are roasting me. I can feel it. I should know where Notre Dame plays their football games. What town or what city that's in. John Tritz knows. I don't know if John Tritz is listening tonight, but he would know where Notre Dame is located at.
Lopez will keep it. Pushed out of bounds there, right side. So they're going to need 3 yards on 3rd down.
South Bend, Indiana.
Oh, I was going to say Indiana. Archuleta, and they're going to get the 1st down.
And Penn State's undefeated as well, right?
I believe so. They had a good
4-0. They have a good quarterback.
Good quarterback, and then the running back that replaced Saquon Barkley, he's also doing good.
That's nice.
They have good running backs over there at Penn State.
I like Saquon. I liked him at Penn State. I thought he was the best player coming out of the draft. The Giants took him 2nd overall, and he's playing well in the NFL.
Yeah, he's gonna
get him in a PPR league. He's a big receiver. Oh, is that Archuleta on the carry?
Yes.
I'm looking at the Sunnyside schedule here. They've got Nogales next week down at Nogales. Ironwood Ridge at home, which is a tough game. At Marana, which is tough. Buena at home, which is tough. The rest of their schedule is very difficult. We might be looking at a 4-win season again here. Conversely, Cienega next week at Buena, which again, Buena is an improved team. They're a bit of an enigma on a year-to-year basis. You're never really sure what you're going to get with them. It just depends on, like, they have a really high ratio of Air Force kiddos. There's a base down there at Sierra Vista, and they get a lot of athletes. And you never really know, like, who's transferring in. So they must have some talent this season because they are competitive.
Yeah, I remember my freshman year, they had a freshman quarterback, and he came here to Cienega, and he did a pretty good job. But they were 0-10 that year, and they've improved. Last year they improved, and this year now they're even better.
So he would be a junior as well if he's still down there.
Yeah, he's still the quarterback over there.
And his numbers, I'm sure, have improved as he's understanding how to play that position at this level. So that'll be an interesting game next week. And there's not a lot to do down there at Sierra Vista, so there'll be a lot of fans out there next Friday night.
Lopez looks for a receiver, then takes it through the middle. Good decision there.
Nice draw. A gain of 8. You see the umpire there smiling. Not very fleet of foot, this officiating crew on the whole. So he had a bit of a slow blocker there downfield that Jonathan Lopez was able to use to his advantage.
4 minutes to go.
Your quarterback from San Francisco went down, Jimmy Garoppolo, so he's done for the season.
Yeah.
That's a tough break.
That is.
Oof. Schlegel nearly. Elijah Miko there to wrap things up. Are the Niners, are they 1-2? 1-2? So week 4 is Sunday?
Yep, they play against the Chargers. And C.J. Beathard will get the start at quarterback.
Is he Bobby Beathard's grandson?
Yes. Yes.
So a gritty, intelligent quarterback, not the same ability level that Jimmy Garoppolo is at, but competent. I think the Arizona Cardinals have a bit of a mess at quarterback.
Yeah, so they're going with Josh Rosen this week against the Raiders.
I don't put much stock in Sam Bradford.
Hayward on the carry.
Willie Rose on the tackle. Willie has a nice game tonight. But I don't believe in Josh Rosen either. I saw UCLA play against Arizona last year, and my father-in-law has tickets right at the 50-yard line on the visitor side, about 3 rows up off the field. I heckled him mercilessly last year, and I felt a little bit bad about it afterwards, but then I didn't feel bad because I knew he'd be getting a multi-million-dollar paycheck, so.
Did you have a bad game?
He had an awful game. He was terrible last year against Arizona.
Ruby with the run here, flag on the play.
Yeah, definitely holding.
Ruby's still going.
Oh, he shook off the tackler there. Julio Vasquez had his hand on the horse collar of Ruby, and the hold will bring this play back. Yeah, Rosen was terrible. I think he had 3 or 4 interceptions. He was highly inaccurate last year.
Did UCLA still end up winning that one?
No.
Oh.
No, the Cats regulated them. The coaching staff was looking at me because they had just heard enough. I mean, I'm telling you, I was relentless last year.
You were Rays coaching staff?
No, we were right behind the UCLA bench.
Oh.
So the Bruin coaching staff was looking at me like, dude, like shut. I mean, I was really obnoxious.
Morales looking to throw, goes to the screen pass to Terrell Hayward.
Oh, nice tackle.
Yep.
Sayas Hernandez on the tackle for the Blue Devils. Well, Sunnyside, they made it a game, and they were very effective, especially in the first half. Right, going into halftime down 14-7. Then they had that great kick return from Vasquez to open up the second half, and their drive stalled. I thought the plays that were called on that sequence puzzling, and I can't attribute their loss here tonight to that series of downs, but it did not help them in the second half when they had momentum trending in their direction. But they were gritty. They came out here and they battled tonight. So timeout with 1:52. Well, I'll do a quick sponsors list here, if that's okay, Jacob.
Go ahead.
Tonight's game brought to you by Aris Family Dental, Apex Network Physical Therapy, Awards to Go, Baggins Gourmet Sandwiches, Beck's Auto Glass, Bling by Design, Concord General Contracting, Desert Earth Contracting, Dina Hogg with eXp Realty, Dr. Ty and Dean with the Sports Institute of Tucson, Homster Heating and Cooling, Hughes Federal Credit Union, Johnston's of Southern Arizona, KB Home, Kaiser Garage Doors, Lieber Orthodontics, Long Realty, the Holly Butler Team, Momentum and Agility Physical Therapy, Montgomery's Grill, NextCare, Nova Home Loans, Rich Hillman, Noonan Physical Therapy, Pizza Hut, Proactive Physical Therapy, Pyramid Federal Credit Union. Boy, that train conductor is just blazing that horn, knowing that there's a crowd here tonight. I'm sure that's not typical. Pyramid Federal Credit Union, Radiology Limited, Rincon Air Conditioning and Heating, Rivas Custom Builders, Specialists in Dermatology, Steamy Concepts, Swim Associates, Vantage West Credit Union, and Walker Family Medicine. Thank you for their sponsorships.
Morales throwing right incomplete, in and out of the hands of Terrell Hayward.
Tough one. Tehe had the ball right in his numbers, and he was looking to turn around. Also, he heard footsteps there. It was 14. Isaias Hernandez right there in coverage, ready to wallop him with a big hit. Can't blame Terrell Hayward for not catching that one.
So the Cats are going to punt with 1:44 as the coaches exit the press box.
And they're going to improve to 5-1 on the season as they head off to Buena next Friday night. We'll bring you coverage of that game in some shape or form. That game kicks off again, of course, at 7 o'clock. Well, the Cats are 5-1, and you remember very well, Jacob, in week 3, heading up to Centennial High School, and things looked pretty grim on that evening. This team has totally rebounded from that, and they have grown and developed from that week 3 loss, running out a string of impressive victories against Rincon University in week 4, Mountain View on the road last week, here tonight against Sunnyside, and then they'll try to continue that momentum next week at Buena High School.
So it's number 6 in the quarterback, Anthony Galvez, and a big run there from Willie Rose.
Galvez, the sophomore, quarterback of the future, 5'10", 155. But I think an impressive performance, I think particularly from the defense. They really put the clamps on what Sunnyside was doing in the second half and really shut down their offense. Much stouter against the run in the second half, and then their pass coverage was excellent. You had that one pass interference call against Sergio Torres, but the pick 6 there from Diego Ruby was the back-breaking play here tonight. 75 yards on the interception return for a touchdown for Cienega. Ruby with 2 touchdowns, 2 big ones, a 77-yard touchdown catch from Elise Morales to open the scoring. Terrell Hayward with 2 touchdowns, a 14-yard touchdown catch, and a 31-yard touchdown run. Ezra Figueroa was perfect on extra points tonight. The touchdown from Sunnyside was from Ruben Retina, a 7-yard touchdown catch from Jonathan Lopez, and CJ Vasquez converted the extra point for the Blue Devils.
David Wilkinson gets the sack on Galvez. And that will be the end of the game. So the Cats improved to 5-1, and the Sunnyside Blue Devils take 2 straight losses and go to 3-3. Cats win 28-7.
Another solid performance from Elise Morales Jr. He's got 12 touchdown passes now on the season. The 1 interception tonight, his first of the year, but really playing at a very high level. Seems to have a full grasp of the offense and what he's being tasked with doing. He's dancing out there. Anthony Williams and Ethan White at the 35-yard line. We're doing some funky moves in tandem with each other. And the Cats will come over here opposing, but they're really feeling it right now. So that's a pretty loose and fun here as they move toward next Friday's game at Buena. But they go overall impressive.
So just to point something out, Cienega won this game 28-7 last week. Sunnyside played Saguaro. Saguaro won 47-0. Does that put any implications on Saguaro? 47-0.
Yeah, that tells us, just looking at the common denominator, which is Sunnyside, that Saguaro is maybe legitimate this season. So they're off to a really strong start. If they blew out Sunnyside by that margin, then they either came out fired up or they have a competitive team. We won't see Saguaro. They're not in Cienega's region. Traditionally they were, and that was a team that Cienega played every year. Cienega this year scheduling outside of their region. Sunny Slope, who came down here, and then also playing against Centennial in week 3. So those are those out of schedule games. And then the road will get more difficult here for Cienega, certainly. So looking at Buena next week, and then I think is the rest of their schedule. Does Cienega play Nogales here at home? That's an away game too, isn't it? So, and then I'm trying to think down the line. I know Marana looms in the schedule on October the 12th. I have that date seared in my memory because that for me is the game of the year. And their last week game in week 10 is going to be against Ironwood Ridge. So Marana is here at home. Ironwood Ridge is here at home the last week of the season. They go to Buena next week. They go to Nogales. I'm missing must be missing a game because that's 4. So they're missing just one more on their schedule.
They have 10 games, right?
Yeah, 10 games.
So this is 6. We got Ironwood Ridge, Marana.
So 5 and 1.
Yep. Nogales and Buena.
Gotcha. Okay, very good. But the road gets harder. Next week will be a game. Marana we know is going to be a huge game. I would say Marana would be favored in that game, even coming here to Cienega. Ironwood Ridge is always a tough game. And Nogales, I think Cienega will handle Nogales, but the road trip makes that game a bit of a challenge. So I've got no more